Hey guys, welcome to Mara's Junk Drawer. I am Mara, and today we're going to be doing week one of Black Menvember. If you're new to my channel, my name is Mara, and for the month of November, I chose to read books only by Black male authors. So this will be week one of my update. I decided to do I'm trying to commit to doing weekly updates of the books that I read for the week of Black male authors because I am taking a fasting break from Instagram. So that Instagram is usually where I put like my book updates because I do not utilize Storygraph or Goodreads or anything of that nature. I pretty much just, if I have a book update, I pretty much just post it on my Instagram. I don't have Facebook. So since I'm fasting from Instagram for the month of November, I decided to do like these, or I'm going to try to do these weekly updates of the books that I read throughout the week and try to post it on every Sunday. So we're going to try. So right now I'm going to talk about two books that I've read so far, and then I am currently in the middle of another, so that'll probably be on the next clip if you see me like wearing a different outfit. So first we have Heavy, an American memoir by Kiese, Laymon. And baby, this book, this book like had me crying. Like he did a phenomenal job with this book. He put his heart, his soul, he put his foot into this book, okay? Let me share with you guys what I said on Instagram about this book. And then I do have some tabs in here that I want to talk about, like certain like poems that he shared, or like like things that I tapped in a book. So my little mini commentary that I wrote after reading the book was: ate this up in one day, annotated, tabbed, and listened to the audiobook. He did narrate his own book. And then I said the way I cried and cried and cried again while reading this was heavy in capital letters. I was literally running from my tears on the treadmill to trade tears for sweat. I started to feel a recognizable pain the author was speaking of, a pain I want to lie about too sometimes. Not enough tears and possibly love to wash away and or heal the trauma the Black man has faced. The amount of weight on their shoulders, and then to come home and get abused even more from the ones who are supposed to be a safe haven, pouring with love, heartbreaking. So the reason why I said I was running from my tears on the treadmill to trade pain, to trade tears for sweat, because I remember I was listening to the audiobook while working out on the treadmill, and I just started to just deeply feel the Black trauma that he was speaking of. And I just remember just running on the treadmill because just to like release in a healthy way, if you're in the gym or you work out at home or wherever you choose to work out, like it's just a healthy outlet to release complicated emotions. So I remember just running to trade my tears for sweat instead of just like breaking down and just allowing myself to sit in that agonizing pain of just like I know how he felt. I mean, it's relatable if you experience the trauma, Black trauma, that a lot of us in the Black community experience, then you know what I mean. But let's talk about the first thing that I tabbed. So the first thing that I tabbed was a poem that he wrote, which kind of sums up, I wouldn't say sums up the memoir, but it is a great foundation of what triggered his memoir. So his memoir is written to his mother. The whole time it's just a big letter to his mother. So this poem says, it's not really a poem, but to me it's very much poetic. So he said, I wrote the words. He wrote this to his grandmother. Like he pretty much asked it. He said, but he said, I tried, but I can't tell her what's wrong. Can I tell you? Can you help me with my words? The words mama make me use don't work like they supposed to work. So he wrote this to his grandmother. I wrote the words, be kissing me in the morning, be choking me, be running a train, be beating my back, be hearing her heartbeat, be slow dancing with me, be rubbing her breasts in my mouth, be abandoning her, be wet dreaming about stuff that scare me, be watching people, be getting beaten, be listening to trains, be on top of me. Be on my knees, be kissing me in the morning, be choking me, be kissing him at night, be hitting hard, be saying white folk hit the hardest, be laughing so it won't hurt, be eating when I'm full, be kissing me, be choking me, be confusing me. At the end I wrote, Grandmama, can you please help me with my words? Baby. And then I do also love when he had this relationship with this woman named Enzola. And I just love the openness that they share together, the vulnerability that they share together, the truth that they share together, being able to bask in each other's presence, each other's being was beautiful. But there's this scene that I love that he shared of them being together. He said it's him and her going back and forth, and she says, because I can just tell you, you will never let me carry what you're hiding. And he said, you won't let me hold what you're hiding either, and it's obvious you're hiding just as much as me. And she said, that's different. I know y'all love to see us break, meaning black men. And he said, and then she said again, because he said after that, I'm not trying to see you break though. And she said, if you want me to believe you when you're lying, she said, then you want to see me break. Ooh, the trauma of between the black man and the black woman, baby. And then he struggled because he was a big boy his whole life. So throughout the memoir as well, like each chapter, he's documenting how big or how small he is. Because then he starts to get so obsessed with losing weight. And listen to this. He said, he asked his grandma, like his grandma was telling him a story. And he literally stopped his grandma, like, I don't care what you talking about. Girl, where's your scale? Like, I walked into your bathroom and your scale was missing. Because he said, he stopped her in the middle of her tracks and said, I'm just wondering what happened to your scale. And then later on, he said, later on what happened was, it states, on our way up to Indiana, I did not eat or drink. I had no way of knowing how much I weighed until I paid the $1 to weigh myself on the raggedy bathroom scale at a rest stop in Tennessee. According to the scale, I was 186 pounds, up 2 pounds from when I weighed myself at the hospital that same day. Like, that's just a glimpse of, like, his journey with being a big boy, trying to lose weight, and there's a lot going on in this book. And then at the end of the book, at the end of the memoir, he goes to confront his mom. And his mom is pretty much, because his mom was abusive, they had this just toxic relationship, as most people in the black community have experienced. And he's talking to his mother, confronting her about, you know, how he felt in his childhood. And he pretty much tells his mom, he says, his mom said, I promise we can. Just know that I did the best I could, Key. That's all I'm trying to say. I didn't know how to do any better. I did the best I could. That's what his mom said, pretty much, of him pretty much asking why. Like, why were you the way you were as a mother? And Kiese, he says, I just think sometimes we don't do the best we could have done. And it's impossible to know that if we're scared to remember where we've been and what we've actually did. I don't think either of us did our best. I know I didn't. Do you really believe you did? You know, because some people just be like, oh, I did the best I could. But did you really? Did you really do you really believe that? You know, like, y'all gotta read this. It was real heavy, as he says. The title of the book, heavy. And then next we have 24 Seconds From Now by Jason Reynolds. Let me just say like what my thoughts were after I finished the book. Baby, this is such a cute book. It's considered teen. So I did reserve this from the library. And my words after I finished the book were tender, loving, fall off the bone, boneless chocolate chip cookies, caress of a sunset, kiss of a sunrise, black love, innocent, healthy love, endearing, the tone of jazz. This book was beautiful. This is my first Jason Reynolds book, and baby, I'm so glad it was, because it's just that warm black love, but in teenage version, because they are seniors in high school. So if you love YA, I feel like this book will definitely be for you. I'm not really a YA type of girl. I didn't even realize that this book was YA, even though there's a big teen sticker plastered on here. But I didn't pay any attention to that. I'm sorry if this angle is just like not giving, but I don't know if this table, I don't think this table goes up and down, and I didn't bring a bigger tripod with me. So yeah, so this is 24 Seconds From Now from Jason Reynolds. Oh, but to go back to Heavy by Kiese and Laymon, he does have a table of contents, which we love. I love that, to like go back and reference like what chapter I'm reading and what the name of each chapter was. Beautiful. Okay, so let's go back to 24 Seconds From Now from Jason Reynolds, and this one is broken up into parts as well. So it's broken up into right now, and then it goes into and 24 seconds before that, and then it's broken up into a time frame. So 24 seconds before that, and just 24 hours before that, and then it goes into like 24 months, and you know, so forth. So it's broken up into a time frame, and then at the end of the book it goes back to, it jumps back into like back to right now. So I did tab a couple places that I want to share with you guys. So Maestro, the dad of Aria, the FMC, there's just, he says, there's just this quote that I loved. He said, it says, Maestro believes every kid deserves a chance to make sound, even if it's horrible sounding. As a matter of fact, to him, real music is all about the melody and mistakes, expression, experimentation, explosion. Beautiful. Like, the beauty in that quote. Okay, and then there's another scene in the book that I want to talk about as well, that I love this scene. So the book pretty much is about Aria and Neon, and they're planning their first time together, like their first time hooking up, you know, having adult interaction. And I'm not sure how old Aria is, but Neon is 17, and they are seniors in high school. And once again, they're planning their first time together. And so it's also so funny. Like, I don't want to give any more away, because the story is pretty much, that's basically what this book is about, them planning their first time. But it's just so sweet and innocent and funny. It's giving rom-com, and it's not like explicit either. Like, even though they're planning their first time and this is considered teen, I think it's like ages 14 and up is what they have this labeled as. But it's so cute. Like, this is a book that I would want to purchase for my son, for him to read it, or if you're like a parent and you're getting into that talk with your child, I think this is an excellent book. I would definitely recommend this book to my children, or purchase this and more so give it to my son, because I think it would just be like a healthy representation of like father and son, you know, mother and son, and like exploring that first time in a healthy way. So this scene that I want to talk about in the book, so Neon, the MMC, he works at the bingo hall. His father owns a bingo hall, and so Neon, he works at the bingo hall as well. And I think my camera is about to cut out. So he works at the bingo hall, and Aria, she loves chicken tenders. So at the bingo hall, they serve chicken tenders. So every time when Neon gets off of work, he has to buy his girl some chicken tenders because she's obsessed with chicken tenders. So one day when he gets off of work, he pulls up on his girl, Aria, to her home and brings her some chicken tenders. And so they're sitting at the table discussing their digital yearbook. So this year for school, they're doing a digital yearbook, and they're discussing who's most likely to. And she tells him, oh, you're most likely to win an Oscar. That's what Aria said. And Neon says, Neon says, and the bar has now officially hit the floor. And Aria says, if only I could provide chicken tenders to all of Hollywood, maybe they'll lower their standards too. And then Aria says, don't get it twisted, my standards ain't low. I just actually love chicken tenders. And you know that. So the way I see it, to love me the way I love to be loved is true love. Therefore, the bar is actually set pretty high. And I felt that because it's like, to know me is to love me. To cater to me in the way that I love to be loved actually sets the bar pretty high for you. Right? Just because, like me personally, I'm a woman who I don't like the like fancy dates, or like, don't get me wrong, I still like to do nice things, but like I appreciate a walk in the park. Let's do a puzzle together with a glass of wine, a paint and sip, you know, Netflix and chill without the, you know, like actual Netflix and chill. You know, very much homebody, homey, chill activities. But just because I like those things does not mean that I'm basic, or that you should treat me as such. Because some guys take advantage of that, like, oh, she don't require much, so I'm not going to apply pressure, I'm not going to do too much. No, just because I like basic date activities does not mean you can't be like, does not mean like to not go the extra mile or treat me as such, you know. Y'all get what I'm trying to say. Like, you still need to treat me as if I'm like high maintenance spiritually, emotionally, mentally, maybe not, and even physically. Like, just don't treat me like I'm basic just because I like basic dates, you know. Some people, just like some guys, take advantage of that and they get lazy. But I love that. Like, just because I don't like roses and I would prefer a bouquet of office supplies, that's okay. And that still makes you a top tier dude for knowing what I like. So I really love that scene. Next one, let me see, what else did I tab? Oh, this is just a funny quote. So Miss Jenkins, one of the teachers, seen Aria and Neon holding hands a little too much. And Miss Jenkins was like, the bell rings in 1 minute. If you are not in your homerooms in 1 minute, you are late. If you are late, you can't learn properly. And if you can't learn properly, you can't live properly. Okay, Miss Jenkins, let them know. Oh, and then this part was funny to me. It was more nostalgic because he was saying that when Neon kissed his grandma, he after he kissed his grandma, he smelled the scent of rose perfume, and that crayony smell of blush danced in my nostrils for a moment. Like, if you know, you know. That crayon, you know, like when the old people's blush or like their makeup smell like crayons. So nostalgic. Okay, and oh, this is another quote that I love. This is just like a representation of like the black healthy love, kind of. So Neon had asked Maestro a question about, oh, he said, what is a whole note? And Arya's dad said, a whole note is a musical note that lasts for 4 counts, like this. He hummed and tapped his foot 4 times to demonstrate it represents the 4 of us in this house, a family whole. My heart. Go read it. I loved it. Loved it. So far, this Black Menvember is starting off so good, and I love that for me. Love that for me. So I'm almost finished with, well, I think I'm like 30% into the Nicke Boys by Colson, Whitehead. So I'm listening to it on audiobook as well as the book. So I'm 28% in. So once I finish that, I will add that update to this video as well. Yeah, I promise every time like I go to record, it's always something. It's either too much noise, my battery's about to die, which all of the above. Let me take my glasses off because baby, the glare. I did not feel like beating my face today, so take me as I am. We're going to be talking about Colson Whitehead, the Nicke Boys. The only other book that I read from him is The Underground Railroad, and I did watch the show. The Nicke Boys does have a movie coming out. The Underground Railroad was a limited series show on, I can't remember, Hulu or Prime, I don't remember. Prime Video maybe, and I ate it up. I absolutely loved it because, you know, that's my vibe. If you're new here, Black historical fiction specifically is my favorite, one of my favorite genres. But so the Nicke Boys does have a movie coming out. I believe it's November, but please correct me if I'm wrong because I could not for some reason figure out what the specific release date was. I seen on the internet it said that the premiere happened, but I think on IBM it said the movie's releasing in November, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, correct me please. But yeah, so I'm just going to read the synopsis to you because the synopsis, I feel like, or the back of the book tells you pretty much all you need to know, and then I'll give my thoughts. So it says, when Elwood Curtis, a black boy growing up in 1960s Tallahassee, is unfairly sentenced to a juvenile reformatory called the Nicke Boy Academy, he finds himself trapped in a grotesque chamber of horrors. Elwood's only salvation is his friendship with fellow delinquent Turner, which deepens despite Turner's conviction that Elwood is hopelessly naive. So yeah, I'm not going to read the rest of it because that's pretty much what it sums up. And then at the end, it says this is based on the real story of a reform school that operated for 111 years. Yeah, so I think the school was called Dozier, Dozier. I think it's Dozier. I'm not sure. I'll put it on the screen if I feel like it. But Dozier School in Florida. And as I was reading this, I'm like, is this the same like reformatory that Tananen, you know, the reformatory by Tananen, what's her name? The book that I keep sleeping on, and I know I shouldn't be sleeping on it, but let me see. But that's crazy that 2 authors have written a book based on the true events of this horrific school in Florida, Dozier. So the Reformatory by Tanana Rivedu. that book is based off the same school as well. So I'm like, dang. And then after I finished reading this book, I went to like research, and like you can go, and the author tells you like you can go read people's the people who survived the school. You can go read their you know, them giving their like testimonies. Okay, yeah. So if you go to officialwhitehouseboys.org is the website of Dozier survivors, and you can go there for the stories of former students in their own words. And so he does quote some of the words from these survivors throughout the book, like in different, you know, in his own way, in different scenes and stuff. But this book, you really have to be like into this type of content to appreciate the book. Only the book was wonderful, but it's very slow. Like it read very slow for me. Like if I wasn't like into this type of genre, I probably would have DNF'd it. But only because this, I feel like the movie would do me justice versus reading the book. But I do appreciate when authors pay homage to certain things in life that, you know, people are trying to sweep under the rug, because the book does start off with they are trying to turn the school site into something else, and they're digging up all of these bodies. And so it's opening that, and then it's going, then it cuts to the scenes of Turner, I think his real name is Jack Turner, and then Elwood in the school. And then also, I'm not going to tell you like the other part because I feel like that might give it away just a little bit of what happens, and then like one of the survivors in their present day life, and then them how they feel about how the school is being discovered, like the body is being pulled up, and then them like what happened at this school, did it happen? And when I was doing my research online, I don't even think people like they're really like acknowledging the victims. Like, are y'all lying, or is it, you know, like he say she say type stuff, which I think is very disgusting. If you're finding bodies, why do you not believe the victims? Like, be for real. Please be for real. But yeah, I don't want to say too much because it's going to give like the story away. So I feel like the synopsis tells you enough. But like my thoughts is that it read really slow. I did appreciate the story because I love me a good history lesson, which now makes me even more excited to read The Reformatory by Tananarive, did I say her name right? Because now I want to see her perspective of the story. But his perspective is just very, it was just very monotone for me. Like, although what happened to the victims in like real life in the book as well, like what it's based off of, very much horrific, but like it was just very much taking you on a journey of, you know, what the boys experienced, like what the people experienced, or boys specifically, in this reformatory. And yeah, it was just very, very, very slow for me. It just read very slow. So I feel like you have to really be into this type of content in order to appreciate, or I don't know, like, I don't know if appreciate is the right word, because so many people are saying they like The Reformatory. I don't know if that's because her take on it was more like haunting, and his take on it is more so telling the story in his own words, but it's very, I don't want to say laid and chill back, but it's not like it's not like, it wasn't giving thriller for me. Like there was nothing thrilling about it, like, oh my gosh, besides the fact of, okay, what's about to, like, what's going on, you know? But yeah, that's my thoughts on the Nicke Boys. I can't wait to watch the movie. I feel like the movie, I feel like I might like the movie better because that's how I felt about the Underground Railroad. Although I absolutely love his content, it's just so slow. Like, you really have to be in the mood for the story. You know, you have to be in the mood to be able to sit down and bask in the story, if that makes sense. It's not something that's going to be like keeping you page turning. Like, it's not entertaining in that aspect. It's more so if you want a nice history lesson, then you have to be willing and ready to sit down and bask in the history lesson. So yeah, that is my thoughts on the Nicke boys. So this is my weekly, this is week 1 of Black Menvember. So we read 3 books, so we're doing good so far, and I've actually loved all the books that I've read thus far. So be sure to check out my next weekly update. I'm going to try to drop these weekly updates every Sunday for you guys. That way, you know, Monday through Saturday or Monday, whatever, however I read the books, baby, you'll have a nice little update of what I read due to me not being on Instagram for the month of November. So yeah, if you made it this far into the video, I thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up for all the black men again, and go ahead and leave me some love down in the comments. Let me know any other black male authors that you want me to check out or read, add to my list. There was something else I was going to say. Oh, if you read any of these books, let me know what you thought about them. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to your girl. Let's lock in because it's nice and chill over here, okay? But once again, thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far into the video, go ahead and drop me a brown heart for all the black men out there, okay?